Hello and welcome to the SMunger Cup Series Season 1 Race 4 of 8 at Chicagoland Speedway. I am your host, Steve, and today, another beautiful day of racing. We are here in Joliet, Illinois at the Chicagoland Speedway. We have 13 drivers who are qualified in for today's race. 3 have gone home, and the points battle for the Season 1 championship is getting pretty tight between the top 6 or 7 in points, all within about a race worth of points. William Schmidt took the points lead after the last race at Fontana. And Tyler Rogers, in his second start of the year, captures his second pole of the season. So I'm not really sure what to expect today. We had a lot of our usual front runners starting towards the front, some of our usual front runners who are starting towards the rear, and everybody's a little mixed up today. So this is going to be a pretty interesting one, but let's take a look at some top stories. As we just said, Tyler Rogers, his second pole of the year, and his second start of the year. 2 DNQs for that team. They're hoping for a good finish today. William Schmidt is currently the points leader, and he's starting second today, just hoping for a good finish to maintain that points lead. Lazard, in his first start of the season last week, got his first win of the season, and is once again qualified in the 5th position. He's just hoping for a good run to claw his way back up in the points. And finally, Chase Newman, starting today in the 10th position, but in the first 3 races has run good enough to claw his way into 4th place in the points, which is pretty impressive for a team that really wasn't looked at as being one of the potential front runners early on in the season. Now let's take a look at what happened in final practice. We had track workers working on the catch fence overnight, after Drake Gosling gets in the rear of Winkelson, sends him across Schmidt's nose and into the catch fence. Absolutely destroyed the primary car for Jaden Winkelson and Revolution Race Team. So you see Jax Riley and Chad Jones and William Schmidt were also involved. Another look at that. I don't know if he turned him, I don't think he turned him on purpose. I think he was just giving him a bump. And it was just, it did not line up very good. Just turned him head on to the outside wall. One more time, you're going to see, and he almost went in roof first, but on the rear. Completely rips the rear of the car away. Car turns over once or twice, but it's a bad wreck for Winkelson. But he will start today's race in the backup car for the number 11. Field rolling off pit road, and they're going through turns number 1 and 2. Starting to file out, and we're going to get ready to run down the qualifying order for the start of this race. Making their way double file off turn number 2, we got Tyler Rogers and William Schmidt making up row number 1. Dice Guy and Cooper Glick make up row number 2. Lazard and Ryan Delago make up row number 3. Jax Riley, Jaden Winkelson are making up row number 4. Chad Jones and Chase Newman make up row number 5. Drake Gosling and Stephen Munger make up row number 6. And Tanner Mann rounds out the field in 13th in row number 7. Dave Wilson, Michael McCammett, and Kacker all fail to qualify for today's race as the pace car pulls off the track and down pit road. Here come the leaders to the start and finish line. The green flag is flying here at Chicagoland Speedway. Race 4 of 8 is underway. And the drivers are starting to make their way off of turn number 2. They haven't really spread out that much. They're still pretty bunched up for the start of this race. Quick flyby of the field as Tyler Rogers is still leading going down into turn number 3. Here comes William Schmidt on the outside. Cooper Glick is sitting there in the 3rd position, ready to pounce if something happens to the leaders up here. Lazard and Guy making up the top 5. Another quick flyby of the field as they come off turn number 4. William Schmidt is going to take the lead and will lead lap number 1. As the leaders, they're 4 wide for the 3rd position entering turn number 1. That's not going to work too well. Delago's going to get up into the wall. He's going to get into Lazard a little bit, and they're going to stack up in the outside lane, but everybody keeps rolling. We stay green here at Chicagoland Speedway. William Schmidt continues to lead as Rogers sits in 2nd. Dice Guy moves into the 3rd position, and Riley moves outside of Glick. Lazard gets into Glick, and Glick moves up into Riley. Gets hit by the 11, and Riley's going to spin going through turns number 3 and 4, and he's going to roll up in front of Jones and Delago. And the big one strikes at Chicagoland here on lap number 2. The leaders crossing over for lap number 3, but Riley, Delago, Munger, Newman and several others are involved in a big pile up here coming out of turn number 4. And let's take another quick look at this. Glick moves up into Riley, and they just stack up. Riley gets hit on that right rear, and it just pushes that car around. And when it rolls up in front of the traffic, they just had nowhere to go. It was Jones there first, and Delago was right there as well. How did Tanner Mann make it through that wreck? That was a whale of a job driving there by that number 53. I have no idea how he was able to clear that wreck. We're going to have to go on board with him to see what happens here. Riding down the back straightaway and towards turn number 3. You're going to see they're all bunched up there right behind the leaders. That is the group with Riley and Lazard. And there goes Riley around right in front of Jones and Delago. Munger gets clipped at the last second. And good job to Gosland as well. He misses this one by driving all the way down the flat. I think Tanner Mann got clipped on the right rear, but really a phenomenal job minimizing the damage for that team. Wow, take another look from here. Heavy damage to Jones. He's going to be done for the day as well. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back here at Chicagoland Speedway. Welcome back to the Chicagoland Speedway. Everybody who was involved in the wreck with damage was Munger, Newman, Jones, Delago, and Riley. Jones, Delago, and Riley are all going to the garage. Munger just spun, so he's still going. And Newman just had a little bit of fender damage, but he'll keep going as well. The restart order is going to be Schmidt and Rogers on row number 1. Guy and Winkelson on row number 2. Lazard and Glick, row number 3. Gosling and Mann, row number 4. And Munger and Newman rounding out the field, 9th and 10th in row number 5. The pace car is making its way towards pit road, and the drivers are making their way towards the restart zone. And the green flag is in the air. The race is back underway here at Chicagoland Speedway on lap number 4 of 8. Headed down into turn number 1, it's still Schmidt over Rogers, and the field still pretty bunched up for being on the restart at least. Coming off turn number 2, Schmidt has a pretty decent lead over Rogers, but here comes Dice Guy going around Rogers for the second position. As Winkelson's hanging on for the 4th spot, and Lazard rounds out the top 5. Guy is going to try to get up there and tussle with the leaders there for a minute. He's catching Schmidt. Look at him go. Coming down the front straightaway, he's going to cut inside. He's got a run on the leader. And here comes Rogers back on the outside. Rogers is going to take over the lead going down turn number 1 on lap number 5. Dice Guy falling away from the leaders a little bit. Winkelson making his way back around the 57. Lazard still hanging on to that 5th spot. And here comes Schmidt chasing down Rogers for the lead once again. And Guy has got another big run on the inside down the back straightaway, trying to get back around the number 11. Oh, they made contact in 3 and 4. It's the 57 and the 11. They both made heavy contact with each other in the middle of 3 and 4. I don't know if Guy moved up into the 11 or if the 11 moved down. But there goes Lazard. He's going to try and get around the 11, headed into turn number 1. But Guy all over the bumper of the leader. And Dice Guy's getting turned into the wall by Jaden Winkelson in the 11. They're going to keep it straight, but Guy has heavy right front damage. He's going to keep the car straight, but he's going to drop from 2nd to all the way back in the 8th position as Schmidt takes the lead back from Rogers. And Munger gets squeezed into the wall by the 11 car as well, trying to pass him on the outside. Glickson around the back of him. I think Munger has an issue. I think he's got right front suspension damage. That car is not getting back up to speed. 2 to go here at Chicagoland as Schmidt continues to lead over Rogers, headed down into turn number 1. Lazard has made his way into the 3rd position. Winkelson and Gosland has made his way into the top 5. Followed by Glick, Mann, Newman, Guy, and Munger rounding out the top 10. As Rogers is now passing Schmidt once again down the back straightaway and headed into turn number 3. Trying to take over this lead. Lazard, Winkelson, and Gosland still make up the top 5 as they are all coming back for the white flag. Is Schmidt going to get a run on the outside, coming towards the white flag, take the lead back? Looks like he's going to. White flag is in the air one more time. Is it going to be Schmidt or is it going to be Rogers winning today here at Chicagoland Speedway? They get really tight getting into turn number 1 side by side. But Schmidt gonna hang on for now. Here they come, coming off turn number 2. Rogers on the bottom, Schmidt on the outside. Schmidt going around off the front bumper of Rogers. Schmidt hard hit into the inside wall. The front end is destroyed on that 79. The 15's got a right front down. He just hit the wall getting into 3. And here comes Lazard back around him. Coming off turn number 4, Lazard takes the lead. Here comes Gosselin for second, but Lazard, 2 wins 2 weeks in a row. He's going to win here at Chicagoland Speedway as Rogers and Schmidt make heavy contact on the last lap. Schmidt spins for the inside wall. Rogers cuts a right front tire. And where did Drake Gosselin come from? Lazard's your race winner today, but Drake Gosselin, who somehow missed the lap 2 wreck, is going to come back to finish runner-up here today. A huge day for that number 9 team, and a huge day for SKS Motorsports as their 79 car was just dominant, and the 98 clutches for a second win. But let's take another look at the 11 and 57. This is back on lap number 6. On board with Guy, it looked like the 11 just went in way deeper than the 57 and just hooked them into the wall. 57's got a big run on the leader going into turn number 1. Checks up to not get into him, but look in his mirror. You can see the 11 coming and, yeah, just hooks him. Turns him straight into the wall. Gets the driver's side cleaned off by the 11. The 09, he's getting blown by on both sides coming off turn 2. But here's another look at what happened on the last lap between the leaders, and I can't tell if the 79 came down before the 15 went up, or if the 15 just went up. Or did he blow the tire coming off turn 2, and that's what caused this? Schmidt's going to drive away, almost gets clobbered by the 09 right there. But we're going to ride on board with William Schmidt, making his way through turns number 1 and 2. Watch that red marker on the wheel. That's what's going to tell you which direction he's already headed prior to the contact. They're making their way off turn number 2. It's hard to say, but it almost looks like he got cleaned out there coming off turn number 2 by the 15. And I'm not sure if it was the contact that cut the 15's right front tire, or if it just blew on its own before the 2 even made contact. But the 15 hit him, and then the 15 going into turn number 3 with the flat tire slams the wall, and Lazard gets the win. Let's take a look at our finishing results. Lazard, Gosselin, Rogers, Glick, Winkelson make up the top 5, followed by Mann, Newman, Guy, Munger, and Schmidt. Jones, Delago, and Riley rounding out the field. All 3 of them were 6 laps down. But a crazy finish to end a crazy race here at Chicagoland Speedway as Lazard is once again burning it down for the fans. 2 big weeks in a row for that team after missing the first 2 races of the season. This will definitely help their points cause. And they're going to go tear up the infield grass as well, it looks like. I don't think they were really anticipating winning today's race. Speaking of Lazard, let's go ahead and watch on board from him one more look at this last lap incident. Rogers on the inside, Schmidt on the outside. And coming off turn number 2, they were both moving. I mean, Schmidt was definitely coming down and Rogers was definitely coming up, but I don't know who moved first to initiate that contact. You see the 15 comes off the wall there. Right front's down. Has no ability to get back up to speed. And Lazard's home free for the 2nd week in a row. 2 starts, 2 wins for Lazard. It doesn't get much better than that. The points battle's tightening up. Schmidt, Winkelson, Newman, Guy, Munger make up the top 5, and they're within 7 points of each other. Lazard, Riley, Mann, Gosselin, and Rogers round out the top 10 in points. And pretty much everybody 11th through 16th needs a series of good finishes in order to come back. Lazard, in 2 starts, has 2 wins and has climbed his way 6th in the points. And pretty much the top 9 or 10 are within a race worth of points. So the battle's definitely tightened up. Another day of great racing is in the books. And I can't wait to see everybody when we get to North Wilkesboro for the throwback race. This is Steve signing off, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.